long-range orb seen over India that some experts say is puzzling.
Hi guys, it's Jimmy here from the UAP Files. Now I appreciate that introduction was pretty awe-inspiring, pretty energetic, but I assure you that the footage that goes along with that introduction is pretty energetic and awe-inspiring. We're going to get into that. We're going to listen to the audio recording of the eyewitness giving his account. We're going to look at the footage. We're going to look at some analysis, some flight trackers, all sorts of bits and pieces to see if we can put a conventional explanation on the object or if it's truly a UAP or an unexplained. The footage was sent in to me by a chap called Karl who lives in Indio, California. He's a registered nurse and he lives in the local area. He spotted this weird orb that appears to be sort of spitting out other orbs, and that orb shooting up and going in funny different directions. We'll look at that and we'll get into it shortly. It's kind of weird when you first look at it, and you want to say that it's a flare, but it doesn't really make any sense being a flare, and we'll get into why that is shortly as well. So first of all, let's check out the raw footage, and then we'll watch that footage again with the audio recording from the witness explaining exactly what he saw, felt, observed, heard, etc. So we'll do that first. Okay, we'll watch that again. This time we'll listen to the voice of the witness, the guy that filmed this footage, overlaid over the footage, and I'll try and zoom in a bit and expand it and show you some of the best bits as he talks it over.
So this incident took place on December 18th. It was about 9:14 at night. I was getting ready to, I was in my car and I was getting ready to leave. I was putting some things away in my car, getting ready to put my seatbelt on, when I looked up, through the windshield, and off in the distance in front of me, there was this like a reddish orange light that I saw. It was just below the mountain line. So I was thinking at first that this was probably like a helicopter. So I was finishing up, getting things ready to leave, and I looked back up, and there was a tree that I was parked next to, and I could still see the light coming through the branches of the tree. So I thought, well, because I didn't see any other lights attached to it, no strobe lights, no blue lights or green lights or red lights, just that one solid light. I opened the sunroof in my car and I thought, well, let me see if I can hear anything, thinking that it might be a helicopter. So I opened my sunroof and I got my phone ready also. And about that time, it came out from the other side of the tree. And as I'm sitting in the driver's seat looking up and to the right out the sunroof, it flew over me probably about 100 feet. I would say it flew to the right of the car about 100 feet up in the air. It flew by very silently. I did not hear anything. I know the sound of helicopters. This was definitely not a helicopter. It was that one single orb-like light, no other lights attached to it. I hit my phone video recorder. I stuck my phone out the sunroof, and I was, because of the location I was in my car as it went by, I was actually watching through the video on my phone So I didn't have like my eyes on the object itself. I was watching it through the video of the phone. And when I saw that it sort of spit out that first light or whatever it was, then that's when I focused in a little more tightly on the object, and I was able to catch the other two things that it ejected out. Now, what you really don't see on the video is, you can kind of see the first object that came out, something associated with it actually turns around and flies back up. If you focus in, you can see that on the video. Now, about that time, I jumped out of the car. I'd stopped the recording. I jumped out of the car, and two of the lights, when they dimmed, it looked to me, they're just like a little pinpoint of light, like a distant star. It looked to me after they dimmed that those two took off to the south. And the main object, it never stopped. It just kept going. And I remember seeing it going off into the distance, like into the sky. I turned back around to grab my binoculars, and when I looked back, I lost it. There was one like bright object in the sky, but initially I thought that was it, but it actually turned out, I think, to be just a star. So that's basically what happened with the video.
This case also made it to the local media, News Channel 3 in Indio, California.
Meanwhile, we continue to get viewer video of news sightings here in the valley. One example is a strange orb seen over India that some experts say is puzzling. News Channel 3's Garrett Hoddle took it to a team of astronomers to analyze and has new details tonight.
News Channel 3 continues to receive viewer video of flying objects in Riverside County.
Oh my God.
An intriguing video came from a man in Indio. Take a look at this. The sighting left us puzzled.
So let's stop it there. Everyone's going to say it's flares. It looks like flares. It must be flares. Well, let's talk about flares. We've got magnesium-based flares. We've got phosphorus flares, pyrotechnic flares, spectral flares, which tend to last 3 to 10 seconds, expendable decoy flares that tend to last, 15 seconds maybe, magnesium, Teflon, Viton flares, 3 to 6 seconds, dual band multi-spectral flares, 5 to 10 seconds, and so on and so forth. Now, there are some specialist, special ops type flares that are longer lasting, luminous flares, 3 to 10 minutes. Bear in mind that this footage was up to a minute long, so we're not in the middle of a war zone here, and we are actually between 3 airports. So if we talk about airports for a second, and we'll get into flight track and see what aircraft were in the sky at the time, but we've got Bermuda Dunes Airport, which is under 6 miles away from the location that this object was filmed at. We've got Jacqueline Cochran Regional Airport, which is under 9 miles away from where the object was filmed. And we've got Palm Springs International Airport, which is under 20 miles away. So are we really saying that we've got these experimental or special ops flares, war zone type flares being shot out over the sky in between 3 big airports? One's an international airport. It seems highly unlikely. Not to mention that we've got March Air Reserve Base, which they could fire the flares off and have a practice just up there. It seems highly improbable that they would do it right near 3 airports instead. So let's get into the flight trackers. Let's see what aircraft were in the sky at the time. So flight tracker that we're using is an ADSB exchange, and we can see that the conversion time is 9:14 p.m. PST, which is UK time. We're 8 hours ahead, so 5:14 a.m. on the 19th of December, the following morning, GMT. So using ADBS exchange, we've gone back in time. We can see the only aircraft is this little one here, which appears to be flying over or very close to flying over. It's a commercial airline, and we've got a couple of light aircraft a bit of a distance away, but nothing within a good 15-20 miles away from where the object was spotted. Bearing in mind, most flares are 5 to 15 seconds, unless we're talking about military grade flares, but no aircraft was seen, and we've gone back a good 5 minutes. Nothing obvious. 1.8 times speed here. Correct day and time. Again, nothing. And we know the exact time and date because we have the metadata from our witness. Which leads us on to the last theory, that it could be some kind of launch of a satellite and something falling back off of some kind of rocket, SpaceX for example. But we know that there weren't any launches in the area at the time or anywhere nearby, the nearest being Vandenberg Space Force Base. And even they didn't have any launches at the time. In summary, the eyewitness account provided really good context that this was weird, that this wasn't seen before. There was no sound of an aircraft jet at the time or just before, no sound of rotor noise from a helicopter or conventional drone. We have the witness testimony, we have the footage and the metadata, and we've checked the trackers and we've analysed conventional explanations. Not flares, not likely to be space debris, rocket debris. In that case, we have to resolve this case as unresolved, a true UAP. It looks anomalous, it's pretty weird, and we can't identify what it is. Certainly not easily and not conventionally with any of those clear, obvious explanations. And there's no data to suggest that it's conventional. Quite the opposite, in fact. A big thank you to Karl for sending over the footage and all of the context that go along with it, the metadata and his account. It's really appreciated, and it means a lot to be able to get footage like this, unlike a lot of the other videos on the internet that are just weird looking and potentially AI, and actually get all of the context of the person behind it and the metadata and be able to dig into it with the time and the location and everything that you really need to dig into a good case like this. Huge thanks to Karl for reaching out and sending that over. If you like this video, please consider a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.